Can you cancel your contract when you're buying a house? Can you cancel your escrow anytime you want, either as a buyer or as a seller? This is what I'm talking about right now. We have actually a real experience happening right now. It's not fun, but that is part of the deal. Welcome to real estate and mortgage business. Another thing, worth it to take legal actions when something doesn't go the way you want it? Well, I'm gonna share with you the experience that we're having, and I'm gonna share with you a case that I already know from a broker friend in San Fernando Valley that went through this and they won the lawsuit, and the buyer got money back because the seller wanna cancel just because they want to. And last but not least, do you think it's a good idea to refi right now, even with the highest rate, pay off all the debt that you have, credit cards, car loans, whatever that is going on, personal loans, even though you're gonna have a higher rate right now than the rate that you had when you got the mortgage 3, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? It's a good idea to do that right now and refi again later, 1, 2 years from now when the rate will be 2%. What do you think about that? Well, let's go step by step, okay? Let's go first with the most important topic of the day. We are going through a situation with a seller who decided to cancel just because. Everything was okay on the contract. Yes, we got an extension. Yes, it didn't close on time, but we got clear to close. Everything is ready. And the buyer is contingency of closing his sale of the transaction that they already did, by the way. And now all of a sudden, the seller decided to cancel the transaction, even though our buyer signing documents and ready to go. By the way, our buyer doesn't want to sign the cancellation. It's a lifelong transaction. But the point of the question is, can you cancel anytime? Well, the short answer is yes. You can do whatever you want, but you have consequences. You are responsible and you are liable. You need to follow the contract. Everything needs to be on writing. And by the way, this is done by the agents on the transaction with the buyer and seller, not by the escrow. The escrow is a third neutral party, not by the lender. I'm just here representing the buyer on the financing part. And that's just the way it is. If anybody's gonna cancel, they need to do everything on writing with the proper forms from CAR, if it is California, of course. But the question is, what's the alternative? What can you do as a buyer or seller to cancel a transaction for any reason? Let's say you wake up today and you don't feel like selling or buying. Well, you have the times of the contract. The time is the essence on a contract on real estate. So you have usually 17 days to do the approval contingencies and the home inspection and the appraisal contingencies. If something goes wrong with that, you can cancel the transaction and no hard feelings. Everybody's gonna be okay. By the way, if you haven't seen the movie No Hard Feelings, it's on Netflix. It's hilarious. I loved it. Anyway, go back to the point. If you have those 17 days or 21 days or whatever time you negotiated on the contract to cancel the transaction anytime, you can do so. If after that time you still wanna cancel, either the buyer or seller, you, the agents, have to represent the buyer and the seller and agree to the cancellation. And everybody's happy and everybody is done, okay? But in a transaction when you are contingent to closing your sale and buying another one, and you, the seller, selling the house to the buyer that is already sold on the other escrow, wanna cancel out of the contract, or when the buyer has a contract right to close the transaction, without any buyer fault, then you are in trouble. And then it's when you're gonna become liable. I'm not a lawyer, I cannot give you legal advice. I'm just gonna tell you based on experiences and people I know who already went through that. I have a person that I know, by the way, a client, doing the loan for them. They got an escrow last year. They're ready to be closing. The seller decided to cancel just because it was a personal reason. Well, they got sued and the supposed buyer got paid $52,000 because the seller decided to cancel it without any reason. That is just an example. Now, this particular case for us, maybe it's gonna be the same. So, wishing you luck and love to everybody, and hopefully the seller is gonna be able to breathe and realize he's making a mistake. It's gonna come back to the table and get it closed, okay? Now, is it worth it to take legal actions? Well, let me tell you this, based on the experience by those clients and the people I know. I'm not a lawyer, I cannot give you legal advice. But if you think your rights are being violated, and you think you have the right to take legal action, I think you should do it. I am not 100% agree with that all the time, but in this particular case, I'm 100% with it. And I'm thankful and grateful because there are lawyers out there, real estate lawyers, attorneys out there protecting the client who need them. No, everybody should be just taking legal action because they feel like it. It's just because you know you have the right to do it and you have the opportunity to make a statement. That is my point of view of that. And well, last but not least, like I was saying, if you have a mortgage rate with 2-3% from 3-5 years ago, and then you have accumulated some debt because life happens, credit cards, a wedding, or you have car loans that now you think probably too high, and you have like $4,000 or $5,000 on payments when you know you can refi and have $2,500 mortgage, $2,500 mortgage payment or $3,000 mortgage payment, then you're gonna have a $1,000, $2,000 saving there a month. Why not? Even though the rate's gonna be 6-7%, maybe 8. You know, down the line, 1-2 years from now, the rate's gonna be a lot lower. By the way, the Fed decision today is not raising the rates for now, and that's a good thing. So think about it, do the numbers. If you wanna know more about the numbers, how beneficial it could be for you to do a refi right now and pay off everything and do the charts to see what is the saving and what you can do about it. And if you put that savings towards the principal every month, you pay the loan actually faster, regardless of the rate. I can help you with that. Well, that's it for now. By the way, Halloween was fantastic. The kids, Barbara, already out of braces. And Sebastian, you have no idea how many candies we got, huh? And only 2 weeks for baseball and it's over. All right, guys. Happy November, happy Wednesday. Only 54 days for Christmas. Who is counting?